question? What's the question? We're trying to get challenges, frustrations, concerns. Now, how do you remember CFCs? Who remembers chlorofluorocarbons? You guys remember those suckers? All right. So that's a good way to remember challenges, frustrations, concerns. That's what we want to get out of this needs-based meeting. Now, on the phone with Scott Bergeson, all right, I was talking to Scott about my IP, and in the email or on the phone, Scott, come back to me. I mentioned to him that I've got, a competitor who's recklessly stealing my IP and destroying my my credibility in the marketplace. Okay, so right off the bat, Scott knows going into this meeting he has one AR. Is that an AR or CR? What I just gave you, Scott, is that an apparent reason or a compelling reason?
I think it's an apparent reason.
Very good answer. You guys will know when it's a compelling reason when I grab a tissue box and start crying all over myself. Okay, I'm joking, but that'll happen to Mike H probably and no one else. But the reality is that Scott would reply, would say, so Steve, you mentioned to me in the email that you've got a competitor that's recklessly stealing your IP and hurting your name in the marketplace. And that's a big deal. And I want to get into that. Let me ask you, with regards to that problem or any others that you've identified, what other kinds of challenges, frustrations, concerns are you having around this particular issue? And then zip your lip. Wait for them to respond. Okay. So with respect to blank, what are your challenges, frustrations, concerns? You guys can tweak that any way you want, but the goal is you want to get them to share any and all problems, legal issues, legal challenges, legal frustrations, concerns they're having that you may be in a position to solve. Everybody take 15 seconds, and I want you to write down how you're going to say that question. So Eliza's going to say it different than Clint because you guys are dealing with different kinds of people, different kinds of issues. Okay. Everybody's going to write down, just write it out with respect to, or any way you want to lay it out so that you're prepared, because you're going to actually ask this question in a few minutes.